I want to commend the Center for Commercialization of Research for initiating the International Commercialization Forum that has brought together some very distinguished people from around the world to share the best and brightest ideas in the commercialization of research.
We're fortunate to have 80 people here from 22 countries to spread the ideas about what works, what doesn't work.
We do a good job in Canada of supporting publicly funded research, but we are not as good as we have to be in commercializing that research.
The Center for Commercialization of Research, of course, is one of the best known of the CSERs operating under the Networks of Centers of Excellence program. We think that it's one of the most innovative, taking steps to make sure that it can continue to improve to serve companies in the future.
CCR with the idea of embedding an executive in these companies to help them get their products to market more quickly, to help them reduce the risk for follow-on investment. That is exactly the right way to go.
What it gets down to is the opportunity to also meet with our collaborators in Ontario and then also with contacts in other countries to really make those global connections. I think is really, really critical. It's about the people-to-people relationships.
Truly, events like today's International Commercialization Forum and organizations like the Ontario Centres of Excellence are also important, more so now than probably ever before.
The commercialization of research is a very high priority for our government. We recognize that moving ideas and innovations from our universities, our colleges, our government labs, or from the workplace itself into the marketplace is absolutely key.
I think the secret ingredient to successful research is collaboration with the business community. And by that I don't mean you don't wait until something's ready to be commercialized. You start at the beginning and you hear what the business community needs. And you also foster a lot of cross-pollination, so placements in business at universities between the two.
I found it actually quite invigorating. It's always interesting and to see the varying views around innovation. What is it and what are some of the challenges associated with it and how might we overcome some of those challenges. So great discussion so far.
So the only thing I would say is, make sure that you keep yourself as open as possible, that your innovators connect with the rest of the world actively, that they don't just stay in their own individual markets or individual contexts.
One of my goals is to form very strong launch pads in other markets around the world for our companies in San Diego, and then also as companies are looking to access the US market or the California market, to attract them to San Diego as the spot where they're going to do business. But it actually can only happen face to face. It's the same reason you get on an airplane to close a deal and you don't do it via gotomeeting.com. You got to build the chemistry, understand the culture.
At a conference where you have many different cultures, different industries, sciences and whatnot represented, there are a lot of new ideas flowing around.
I think there's sort of expertise in the rooms in the last 2 days, and also sort of background of people coming in, and also in terms of the depth of the sort of discussion is really amazing.
Well, failures are always, I would say, more important than successes, because this can be somehow emulated and adapted to national cultures. But failures is where you really learn about the process, what you could have done differently, and why you failed. Understanding why you failed is really important to get it right.
One of the most important things in technology transfer and commercialization is the network, because having a contact in Canada or having in Australia is something very important, because then we can just be in touch and say, okay, this is something that there's a company there that can be interested.
Coming and working in Canada is wonderful for me because the language, the culture, the tradition, the history, and Canadians are great people to work with.
All the major changes that are happening in terms of economy in the world, a lot of it is impacting by research. All the research that is going on in new sources of energy and so on will impact the world economy, because as the fossil fuels will be over in about 50 years, the research that is going on will have a critical impact on the world economy and the world as a whole.
The main goal is to facilitate partnerships between organizations in different countries, and this is happening. There are partnerships being forged, and there'll be more. So I think we can say mission accomplished.